review of my brand new chainsaw, the MS261C. This saw is something I've wanted for a long time. I wanted to get into a pro level saw, and that's exactly what this is. This is kind of their smaller size pro level. I can still handle a 20-inch bar, which I currently have on there. Hey, George.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of replacing, I'm not really replacing my old saw. This is the MS250. It's kind of a homeowner saw. My wife got this for me for my birthday probably about 6 years ago. It's been a great saw. I've cut a lot of wood with it, and it's been a great learning experience. It's really my first personal chainsaw. I grew up with Huskies around. My dad had Huskies for a long time, and they're a great saw as well. It's kind of 6'1", half dozen the other. But my wife just happened to pick up a Stihl for me, and I really have enjoyed it so far. It's been a great saw. It's obviously a little bit older technology, but it's still it's been a great saw. It's a little smaller. Kind of go over the specs a little bit. Yeah, the 250 here has a 45.4 cc, 3 horsepower, so 3 horsepower even. While this saw is a 50.2 cc and it's 4 horsepower, so you get a complete 1 horsepower increase with this. The pro level saw is still kind of the same class, and with the weight being at 10.1 pounds and 10.8 pounds, the power to weight ratio increases drastically. You go from a 0.29 power to weight ratio for the horsepower to weight, 0.29, and for this saw you are at 0.37, so a significant increase. Also, you'll notice that the fuel tank on this is increased from a 15.9 on the MS250 to a 16.9 on the 261. The bar oil reservoir goes from 6.8 ounces to 9.1 ounces, and the bar capacity, I mean, you can run a 16. I have a 16-inch bar on this saw currently, and you can run a 16 or an 18-inch bar on this saw. You can run, which I currently have a 20-inch on here, but you can run a 20, 16, or 18-inch bar. Kind of like anything, you could probably push your limits a little bit. You could probably run a 25-inch bar on this if you need to make some kind of specific cuts. But for the most part, a 20-inch bar, I kind of wanted to get the biggest size that this saw would allow. I can always swap it out with this bar. The bars are both Roll-O-Matic E's. You can kind of change. You can change and swap those around. So I've yet to fire this saw up, and I really am hoping to do that soon.
Sam hit me in the back of my head with a stick on purpose.
You're okay, right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Which is your favorite chainsaw, George?
That one.
This one? Why?
Because it's has the same but longer and bigger.
Longer and bigger? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But this one's body is bigger and this one's body is smaller.
It's more sleek, huh?
Yep.
It's kind of cool. So guys, I wanted to quickly show you some of the features. So the old MS250, and I say old, it's only a few years old, 6 years old. Has the still has the toolless fuel and bar oil caps. Neither one of these saws has the full wrap handle. They both still have the top and the left side. The full wraps, really, if you're falling all day and you're really out in the woods a lot, I mean, those are probably a little more useful, but for me, not really necessary. Just to get into the air filter, so quick quarter turn. You want to make sure that you have your this all the way down, and it just comes right off very easily. You have your air filter. This does need to be replaced when it gets very dirty. This right here for running cold weather. It goes back in, and your kill switch. This small contact right here, I've noticed I've had it come off on me a few times. It just pops out. I had to put it back in. I haven't had a problem with it for a long time now, but it's been a great saw. The anti-vibration is decent on this saw, but it's nothing like I expect this saw to be. From all the reviews I've heard, it's got a regular pull start. Doesn't have any decompression. On a saw this size, you really don't need it. There's no Elastistart, which this has the new Elastistart, which you can see it gives you a tiny bit of. There's just a small spring in there that kind of takes a little bit of the shock away. So this saw doesn't have, it does have an adjustable oiler. I've never adjusted it, obviously, as you can tell. But it doesn't have the captive nuts, so when these come off, you can lose them in the woods. Luckily, I haven't lost them yet. But let me get this out of the way. So the new 261, sorry. Here's the wrench it comes with. It also comes with this Allen. And I went ahead and I bought the HP Ultra. If you buy this 6-pack of oil, 2-cycle mix, they extend your warranty. They double it from 1 year to 2 years, so it's kind of a no-brainer. So at the time of purchase, you buy that. You don't have to do anything else, is my understanding. So these, I believe, are quarter turn. I've never taken this off, so this is all new to me. So you'll be able to see frustration right off the bat. Never taken this off. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Look at that thing. So obviously here's your decompression valve right here, which sticks through this small cap, and I'll show that when it's back on. This is supposed to be a lifetime air filter. You never have to replace. This one's white. I've seen a lot of videos where it's black. Some guys are kind of confused on why it's black versus white. I don't think it really matters. So just to give you another look from this angle, this right here, you pull this out. This is your winter. It just helps restrict airflow so that during the winter you don't get your saw doesn't get too cold. So again, air filter should just twist off. It unlocks, I believe. Again, I've never even played with this saw. This is the very first time, so we're experiencing it together. Looks pretty easy. Looks like you can just blow this pleated filter out. Again, it's supposed to be a lifetime filter. Clicks right in. You hear that audible click. That's nice. It looks like a really nice tool. It looks like it's got some very nice anti-vibration. So you shouldn't have. Yeah, you can see quite a bit of movement there. It really allows the saw, the engine, to vibrate independently from the operator, so that you don't get worn out too quickly. So let's put this back together. 1 click, 2 click, 3 click. That's it. That's easy. One other difference with the MS250 versus this Pro saw, you have only a 3 position. So you have run, you have choke, and which is your start, cold start, and then you also have your kill switch. And the kill switch on this one is just a instantaneous push up, and it kills it. And then to run, you obviously push trigger and hold that down, and it locks into position. When you pull and start it, once you start running, let it idle for a few seconds, and then you can just release the trigger, pull the trigger, and it goes into the run position. And again, when you need to kill it, just push up. It's very intuitive, very easy. So I've never run this saw before. It has fuel. It has bar oil. I checked both of those things, so we can get it fired up. One other thing I want to point out on the Pro saw versus the non-Pro models, you have this line here. Some people don't understand what that is. It also is continued on the cover. This line is an aiming line, right? So when you're cutting your notch, whatever kind of notch you're cutting for felling a tree, you can use this line to aim down the line of sight to help you fell the tree in the right direction. This saw also has the adjustable oiler. It's a small screw type, so just use a very small flathead, and you can adjust that. A lot of people don't adjust these. Some people run them wide open. You typically want to run 2 tanks of fuel to 1 tank of bar oil. Stihl will actually will still warrant the item and says it's acceptable to run 3 tanks of fuel to 1 tank of bar oil, so you can turn it all the way down. It's kind of a personal preference depending on what kind of wood you're cutting, how much you're getting into it with the saw. If you're cutting a lot of heavy red oak and you're going through, you need to use a lot of bar oil, you want to probably turn that up a little bit. But from factory, I don't think I'll probably adjust this. I'll let it run, and we'll get some run time out of it, see how it is. one other thing on this saw, you have the captive nuts, so when you take these off, they stay with the cover, with the head cover. You don't actually have to mind where they are, put them in your pocket or whatever when you're trying to adjust blade tension or pop this thing off to clean it, to swap the bar out or swap the chain out in the field. If you just won't lose those, so that's kind of a nice little feature. All right, let's get this thing fired up. Okay, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and fire up the MS261C for the first time. Pretty excited. I pushed the decompression valve in just because I'm a kid and I like to touch things. But let's go ahead and put it in the proper start position. It should be all the way down, which it currently is. The chain brake is on right now, so I just put the chain brake on. Let's go ahead and give it a pull. They did run at the dealership, but that was several days ago, and they ran it for just a few minutes just to get all the fluids running through it. Let's give it a pull. Classic start. You can hear the decompression when I roll out. You can hear it coming out the cylinder. So, all right, there's one. Let's just keep it on that. So the kill switch worked flawlessly. Obviously, I just barely pushed it up. The decompression valve, you probably can't see it from your angle, but it did pop back up. So here's the click as it goes in. Again, just to start it, I'm just going to put it on warm start. You should let it idle once you come down off throttle. You should let it idle for a couple of seconds before you kill it. I just didn't, obviously. But yep, this is an awesome saw. I think I'm really going to enjoy this. I'm going to get a lot of action out of it. So I'll show you some cutting, and then we can wrap this review up. Hey guys, I wanted to give a shout out to the guys over at Greene County Power Equipment. I'll put their, obviously you can see their information right here, so I guess I don't need to put it in the, I'll put it in the description below anyway. Greene County Power Equipment in Greenville, New York. Really good guys. I also kind of just want to run by, so this saw in the current configuration with the 20-inch bar was about 579, I think, 579. So with, I got a gallon of bar oil, and I got the, I also got the 6-pack of 2-cycle mix. So with that all being said, it was somewhere like 634, 665. I think it was like 665, 650, something like that. So, but the saw is right around 600. Hey guys, we're back out here in the woods, and gonna go ahead and test out the 261 and run it side by side with the 250. I brought the 250 out just to kind of show you. I brought my little bag of goodies, just some, always have a tape with me, a beater, some wedges. Just a good idea when you're felling trees to have all those things, especially when you want to cut them into log lengths. iPhone has a pretty cool built-in app actually that you can measure the length of trees, but we're just kind of back here in the woods. This is our little slice of heaven back here, and we're going to run these two saws. We're going to drop a maple that's kind of starting to die, drop that guy, and then we'll cut it up into nice log lengths to put onto the mill. But we can see a little bit of the performance of the 250 and the 261 side by side, and let you guys see. And this is the first time I'm running this saw. It's got a 20-inch bar. Just picked it up. It's the Stihl Pro Saw. So as you know from earlier in the review, pretty excited to try it, and hopefully get some cool shots, and you guys enjoy this video, and go ahead and pick yourself up a MS261C. Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of clean this little scrub tree up before I drop this maple. I want to go in this direction, so I'm gonna go ahead and check out the. I'm gonna run just the MS250 for you, because if you guys are in the market and you're not looking for a pro level saw, the MS250 for a homeowner, this is a great saw. I really can't say enough good things about it. I just wanted a little bit more power, and I'm also the Pro Series just makes me feel more legit about myself. But let's go ahead and fire it up. So haven't run the saw yet today. It's in all the way down into the full choke position. Chain breaks off. I got the kick over, put it into half choke. As soon as you kick the throttle over, it goes right up into run position. So let's do some cleanup. Took that right in the neck. All the reason you gotta be so careful. I hurt myself on video. Wife's gonna love that. Well, let's be a little more careful and let's keep going, huh? Okay guys, so we cleared out the trees over here. You saw me get stabbed in the neck. That was fun. Luckily I'm still alive, didn't kill myself in the woods. So we're gonna go ahead and drop this tree. I'm gonna use the Humboldt. So I'll make a straight cut in and then I'll make a cut up. It's kind of a reverse from what most people consider a your wedge relief cut. So instead of coming straight down and in, so what this does is it gives me more control. It also allows me to save more of the tree. So I'll come in pretty low to try to save more of the tree. So when I make my back cut, I'm making my back cut against a flat cut. I'm going to have a nice flat area when I go ahead when I drop the tree. It won't have that that notch out that you see on a lot of trees that are fell. So let's go ahead and get the saw fired up, and I'll use my aiming lines and I'll show you that. I'll use my aiming lines to drop the tree directly this way. This is the open area I want to drop it, so I'm going to go ahead and get the saw fired up. Let's go ahead and fire this up and make the first cut into wood with this new saw. So I'm down in the full start position, brakes off. Perfect. On the money. I love it. Didn't even have to use the wedge. Okay guys, let's do a little bit of limbing with the MS250. We'll just do a minute of limbing and then we'll switch over to the 261 and do limbing with that. The thing I like about this saw is a 16-inch bar, super lightweight. It's really good for this. This is some nice hard maple. So I mean, this saw is really pretty effortless when it comes to this kind of stuff, and with the 16-inch bar, it does a good job. But let's fire the 261 up and see how it runs. Alright, we got the 261 back in the warm start position again. This is how it's always in the warm start position as soon as you kill the switch. So let's give it a one pull test. Yeah, so the 261's obviously got a bunch of power. Gets through this stuff no problem, but with the 20-inch bar, it's just not as much fun limbing. That 16-inch bar just on that 250, really, and it's what, 0.9 pounds lighter, so almost a pound lighter. Makes a big difference, just working around all these trees. Well guys, let me tell you what, this 261 is sweet. Only running it for 15 or so minutes out here. It's just, the power when you grab into a bigger tree is like completely noticeable over the 250, and that's even with the much larger 20-inch versus 16-inch bar. And I love this thing. I think I'm going to get a lot of great use out of it for the next 20 years. I don't think I'll ever really outgrow this saw for what I do. I'm not going to become a lumberjack anytime soon, but for what I do around the house and getting into it maybe more than the average homeowner, this kind of lower level Pro Series saw, the smaller Pro Series saw, the 261, is a great saw. Really enjoyed it out here. You know, I actually prefer the 250 though over the 261 for limbing and smaller stuff. So if you're in the market for a saw and you want to get something, this the 250, which I think there's the newer version out, but this 250 is a great little saw. I can't remember how much it was. I got it for a birthday present about 6 years ago or so. My wife bought it for me, and really love this saw. This saw has done a ton of work with just a 16-inch bar. For 90% of the people out there, I think this is a great option, especially being like half the price of the 261. The 261's running close to $600 with tax and everything. This saw, I believe, is closer to $350 or $400 with tax and everything, and you can find them used all over the place for in the 2 to 250 range. So for this saw, it's really ergonomic, nice and lightweight. It doesn't have too much power where, you know, you can kind of get into a little bit of trouble, especially with a saw like this running a 16-inch bar. You can get into a little bit more trouble with it, especially if you're running a full chip bar. So again, appreciate you guys watching the video, and please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll be putting out more content like this. Thanks again.